record. All right. And then this guy here, record in 5, 4, 3. Gentlemen, how we all doing today? It's episode number 11. Want to do a roll call? Who we got on the house here? We got David Zimmer, everybody. Top shelf.
Hey guys, what's up?
Listen, we got Jerry Jasper.
Greetings.
What does that say? Oh, Ty Bigger.
Hope everybody is well.
Mr. TJ Otto, everybody.
Swinging it. How's it going?
Doing great. Wow, what a crazy weekend. What a great week. We're streaming today live on online, so we got that achieved. Before we get too crazy, I wanted to say, congratulations to everybody that's been, staying safe and take care of themselves. With that being said, oh my God, what this monstrosity that's going on out in the world right now. I was last night watching the news. Actually, Facebook Live mostly about all the riots going on everywhere. But more importantly, seeing a riot in Erie, Pennsylvania. Wow, that was... Never thought I'd see anything like that before here. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Tony, do you notice, do you guys have also anything crazy nearby? See it or just been following the news? Guys, riots are making me sick to my stomach. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to... take it in.
It's pretty crazy out in Boston. I guess there's a bunch of stuff going on. I haven't really watched too much of the local news, just kind of checking out news feeds here and there. Seems like pretty much every major city is having the same stuff going on. Some of them has been uplifting, the ones that I saw. One of them was with a cop that was marching, like the chief police officer there was marching with the folks and turned it from a protest to a parade, and just walked with everybody, and it was kind of nice to see a little bit of something else other than destruction of everything, which was kind of uplifting.
What about for you, Ty?
Around here, just like TJ said, with the local news, there's not too much going on. But I did recently today just see in the news that there's some of this rioting going on in Chicago. Not necessarily rioting. That was a bad choice of words. There's a lot of peaceful protests going on up in Chicago, but some of them have been getting splitting up and stuff like that. It's a whole new ballgame we're dealing with here. That's for sure. Well, it's not new. It's something that's happened in the past, but it is being seen on a much grander scale than we've ever seen it before.
Absolutely.
That much is for sure.
David, my man, want to talk about the quiet riots?
Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of emergency in here. They're protesting here also.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. And the reason why I saved you for last, my friend, whenever you're ready, you can unmute. But I saved you for last because of your location. So I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to spill everything to me, because I saw that conversation earlier where we're both just like, what the fuck did that dude just say? So, Jerry, take it away.
Yeah, that was facepalm time. Give an update on where I'm at. I'm in the south suburbs of Chicago, and there's looting, and there's a local business, half a mile away from where I lived at. People are setting on fire, looting it and shit like that. So it's there's nothing like no major group. It's just sporadic idiots, man, just looting and causing ruckuses. So yeah, it's hitting here pretty good. As far as the conversation with that dude, I didn't even want to get on social media. I have a lot of friends, a lot of black friends that are saying, if you're staying quiet on this, then you're part of the problem too. And I was like, yeah, I agree with that. So I posted it. My take on it is just there's a lot of misdirection going on right now, and we kind of lose sight of what really the whole purpose of all this is. We focus on all these other things conveniently, and kind of let the the death of that man go to the wayside. So I posted that, and he basically was like, "Oh, so you condone rioting and this and that," and it's just like, dude, nobody even said that. Like, I don't know where you got that from. I don't know any human being that condones rioting. Like, to say that, like, just it's kind of proving my point. He's the same person that.
Oh, the last time.
Yeah, same guy. As soon as I saw
okay.
as soon as I saw the notification, I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go again. This is the same guy that said that the COVID is no worse than the flu, and this is all a hoax, and we need to get back to work, and this and that.
Just really emotional and just ratting off, man. Not even thinking. But I will give him credit. I will give that
he did
person,
retract. Yeah,
he did. He said, "Hey, you know what? I didn't read it correctly." He says, "I retract my statement." He said, "I worked a long day, and I'm sorry for that." That right there, though, that was the first thing that I saw out of it that was like really positive and really uplifting out of that whole, like with everything I've been watching on the news and stuff. When that guy was just like, you know what, I was wrong. I read it. I was like, holy shit, wow.
It's a good sign.
Maybe that isn't the problem. Maybe that's exactly what people need. Is they need to be wrong, and they need to be proven that they're just being emotionally and driven.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, another guy on Instagram posted something, and I just said, he was mad because all these people are posting stuff about, black people. I've never seen a peaceful protest and this and that. He's just like, how can people be this blatantly racist on social media? And I just chimed in. I said, I've seen a peaceful protest. It was called Colin Kaepernick. Like, that was as peaceful as it gets. He wasn't hurting nobody. And I said, look what white people did with him. And, he called me on it. He's like, you can't just say, like, white people, because that's a blanket statement. It's kind of like saying, like, all black people are bad. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I was wrong. That was not the right choice of words. And he goes, the thing was, he was cool about it. He's like, no, dude, I get it. He goes, the whole thing was started by white people, so it's not like, it's not like you're speaking anything wrong. But he's like, that type of talk doesn't really help the big cause. And I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I think we need to take a step back and like just check ourselves, man, and understand that we all are emotional right now. And are we helping? Are we hurting? And we need to take that seriously, because I'm seeing shit I've never seen in my neighborhood before. That's for sure.
And actually, that's why Scott's not here with us tonight. He messaged me earlier, and then we had talked for a little bit. He wanted to tell everybody that he's sorry he wasn't able to make it tonight, but watching everything last night, it was very hard for him to kind of to really kind of want to deal with it and not suppress it. So he said he's just gonna take it easy tonight and spend time with his girls. But what he was talking about in the story was actually it was rather funny to me that he had the same conversation but a little more involved than just like I did. So it was pretty late. My daughter and I, she's 6, we were sitting there and we were playing on Xbox and hanging out. And I just looked at my phone and I'm like, God, this is ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing I have seen in a long time. And it's really like making me feel a way that I haven't felt. And like I have so much emotion going on inside. And I told her, I was like, this is ridiculous. And I showed it to her. And she's like, well, I don't understand. Why are they doing that, Dad? I says, well, that's the thing. I says, they're trying to say that there's racial inequality. And we went into depth of what it was about. But like just showing my daughter what these people are, even in our neck of the woods that are nowhere nearby, just like for you guys, we have nothing to do with any of that. Like this Erie, Pennsylvania is not. We don't have those kind of problems like they do in the South when it comes to racial, profiling and stuff. Here, it's really not. There's really not that. It doesn't seem like there's a barrier here. From my personal standpoint, I was raised in Wilson, North Carolina. We were the minority where I lived. And I can relate that it's not fun when you feel like everybody's looking down on you. I get that. But to be burning buildings down, ripping the fucking parking meters down in the city block, it's like, dude, you dumbass, you have to pay for that too. Like, people are fucking stupid. Stupid. I've
It's
never.
it's
But
it's
that's
an
why Scott's
emotional.
not here. That was the moral of that, because he had to explain to his girls what was going on, and he just wanted to really chill and spend time with them. So he said, "Sorry, you can't make it." But my goodness, this shit's got my blood boiling, man.
Well,
Yeah,
there's some to give some understanding because I've been trying to wrap my head around it too. Um, they said that the people in Minnesota, the people they arrested weren't even from that area. So it sounds like there's just groups of people that have been waiting for an opportunity like this to steal shit. If you look at big picture, how long have been people been laid off? They're scared about their incomes, and I'm not saying it to justify anything by any means here. I'm just trying to
Just
get
trying to
some
show some
understanding as
empathy. It's to try and show some empathy. I get it.
what's the motivation behind it? How do you justify these type of things? And that's all I can come up with, man. Is just people are scared for their own livelihood and see an opportunity, and they're under emotional duress, and this is what you have. I feel like this is like the perfect, like, how do you get a more perfect storm for unrest than right now?
yeah.
Very true. Very true. People they're cooped up. They're scared. They're scared. They're
Yeah.
scared. We're all scared. We're all scared. These are crazy times that we're living in. Just sit back and take a deep breath, man. But going out there and destroying all these cities, like, oh my god. So,
Like I'm taking
stupid.
a step back, even on social media, and I'm not posting anything that's related to it just because I want to take, kind of like Scott, I want to take time to understand it. And I mean, I come from white privilege. You know what I mean? Like I've even when we were on welfare as a kid and we were the only family pretty much in Sandwich at the time that was on welfare, and we were looked down upon by pretty much everybody. I mean, parents would walk across the street just because my mom was on one side and they didn't want to be associated with her because it was a rich, uppity neighborhood town. So, I kind of get a little bit of it. I understand it. I understand the anger. I understand the emotions from it. But I want to make sure that I understand the situation completely before I go and try and say anything to because honestly, what are my words really going to do? My words, if my friends, my people on my Facebook decide that they don't want to talk to me because I didn't raise enough of a stink about what's going on and I didn't come out and express my opinion on it publicly on Facebook, then these people weren't really my friends in the first place. My friends know how I feel. They know if I'm racist or if I'm not. The people that know me know who I am and what I'm about, and what I hope know what my values are. If they don't, then I've done something terribly wrong in my time, and my actions that I have not shown that to them in every time that we've talked or hung out. But I feel that I've done that pretty well over my lifetime. Um, I can't say that I'm happy with how these people are everybody's handling it, because it's not just black people that are rioting. It's white people, it's Hispanic people, and it's a lot of people that are between 20 to me, by what I've seen, everything I've seen, it's usually between 20 and 30 years old. I know how I was between 20 and 30 years old. I was very emotional and very jerk reaction. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I was.
Mm-hmm.
If something set me off, forget it. I'm going to town. Whatever excuse I needed, it was always 11.
Right.
But with that comes restraint in the older days, in the older years, and a little bit more. I like to think maybe wisdom. Um, I'm not the smartest person out there, but that's why I'm taking the silence on saying anything, not engaging people as much as I want to. It's been tough. Jamie knows lately I've been very trigger happy on commenting on people's things on Facebook. But like Jerry, when I saw your post on there, I was like, that guy, I wanted to just jump in, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit back and watch, and I'm just gonna wait, and I'm not gonna say anything I want to
Well,
understand everybody's thing.
I know exactly where you're coming from, but to be fair, if any single person I could see write a post that's going to take something so negatively and turn it into such a positive vibe, it would be Mr. Jerry Jasper here.
Oh
Because,
yeah, no.
and,
There's
no,
nothing
no, no, no,
against
no, no, no,
Jerry's
no, no, no,
post.
no. Just let me finish. So, my thing about it is the way that Jerry went about saying it. It brought the light about how Colin Kaepernick, about how he did it
Yeah.
peacefully, and how he really did it. And dude, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, wow, I didn't think of it like that. I guess I didn't see it in that light. But my hat finally, for the first
No, it
time
was
off, and the whole thing came off to him. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Now I get it. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, in
Now
my
I
opinion,
truly
it was
get it.
perfectly.
He's
It
been
was a
chastised.
perfect.
And when you said that, I was like, "Oh my God, that is brilliant! That is
Like
great!"
I didn't have anything that I could even add to it because it was. I mean, it covered everything. It took a second and understood both sides of it. What's the benefit of I can understand if they were demolishing police stations only. But to destroy postal service places, you know what I mean?
Storefronts.
I know destroying property is not the answer, but I could understand the frustration in attacking the people that they were extremely frustrated at. But to go out and to do what you're against, the violence and the blanket assumption that everybody is the same, is not helping your cause. You know what I mean? And that's why I haven't said anything on it, because it's gonna. I mean, I'm saying it now, but it's kind of stupid. But
Well, that's because no one can reply to you but us. So.
yeah, I know. But it's just it's heartbreaking to see that it's getting buried beneath all this tragic property damage and not being addressed. Like what's going to happen. I haven't even heard about what's going to happen to this police officer. I heard he was arrested. That's all I heard, and there was charges up on him. But has he even gone to trial yet?
No.
So why are we rioting now? He's been arrested. There's charges been brought up on him. So why are we rioting now? I don't understand that. That's what I don't. I can understand if it was like, okay, we riot because he was arrested and they found him not guilty and set him free, no charges, no punishment, no nothing. I mean, at worst, at best, he should get manslaughter, in my opinion. That would be at best, but it just doesn't seem like it's the right time. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like it's the right time to start protesting and doing all this stuff. Like, if you want to bring up Black Lives Matter and things like that, that's perfectly fine. I understand that. You should be doing that all the time. You shouldn't wait for someone to be killed to want to have to bring these injustices to light. There's plenty of black men that are arrested every day and held against their rights for stupid things, for things that should not be thinking. I'm going to tell a story later on that's going to show my white privilege and where it changed in a matter of a 30-mile radius, how my white privilege came from okay, and then all of a sudden it was gone. So, but I just don't understand why we have to, why you can't do this stuff on a regular basis. Why can't all these people be so active and so passionate on a regular basis and make it a constructive form rather than a destructive? I just don't understand it yet. And maybe that's just, again, like some of my friends, my woke friends will say I have white privilege and I'm not woke enough. And I hate to use that woke term, but it seems like a lot of my friends that have done messed up things in their past all of a sudden are holier than thou, and they're on the side of right, and you're on the side of wrong because you didn't speak up yet. I just don't understand that.
And that's not really fair. Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, I think some of it is just, and my motivation for it was because of the Colin Kaepernick thing, because what voice do they have? The guy tried to do a peaceful protest, and look what they turned it into. It's like, oh, this guy's against America.
But
he didn't. Basically, like you're pushing your own agenda to basically discredit this dude. And
yeah,
I mean, the guy got blacklisted. They basically ruined the guy's livelihood. He can't get a job as a quarterback anymore because he spoke up, and he did it peacefully. So I think that was my motivation. Is like, well, when do they have a voice? And if they don't have a voice, then why am I not speaking up? Like
Yeah.
people from white privilege that, are supposed to be on the other side, that are supposed to, uh, just be on the other side. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if I can help by sharing my voice, then that's why I want to do it. It's, oh man, just the whole, when I went back and look at the whole Kaepernick thing, I'm just like, man, like, if that wasn't the way to do it, then what the fuck is?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, he did. He did it. In my opinion, he did it right. I mean,
yeah,
and he kept doing it. He didn't stop because, and he didn't go and riot places because he was, Nike stopped using him. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
didn't all of a sudden go in and blow up a Nike factory because they stopped paying him and they took him off of, the thing. So I mean, that's what I mean. Maybe I said it wrong. That's what I mean. Why are we jumping from actually, regular protesting, safe and nice protesting, and jumping straight to rioting? Like there's so many
Yeah.
things that could be done in between there that are constructive and that could be attempted, and bring things to light, start a foundation. There's so many things that these people could take their energy and put them towards. And maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe that's something maybe I need to do. Maybe I need to try and go down there and start doing something. I don't know. I don't feel it's my place personally. I don't feel like I have a right to be in that. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I have the right to be in there and to speak for people like that. Because I've haven't been in that situation. As crappy as some of my growing up was, I've never been in that much of a disadvantage in my life. And it's as much as I'd want to do it. Like, I commend you, man. I couldn't have put it better myself the way you put it. I couldn't have, and that's why I didn't comment on it, because there's nothing I could add to that conversation to help boost that up even higher. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's
Well,
just
it makes sense.
I couldn't see anything else that could be said that would get across that point anymore than the way you put it.
Yeah, I want Ty. You had something to say there.
Honestly, I lost it by now.
Sorry, man.
Refresh me on the question.
Just tell me to shut up, and I'll shut up.
No.
You're fine.
No, just talk.
Refresh me on the question.
We were just talking about the peaceful protests and how Colin Kaepernick, how he went about it the correct way. Looking, especially and for me, especially, it's looking back at it. He did it the right way. I did not give it enough thought or enough validation, I guess, throughout the whole process for him. And now seeing the alternative, the way people are acting, the way people are taking these things here, that makes me have a whole new appreciation for what he did personally. That I would have never gave him the credit for before, because I'm a typical person and I'm not perfect.
I'm right there with you, Jamie. I was on that same exact page. I was on the, he's disrespecting the hundreds of thousands of brave men and women that have sacrificed their lives for us to enjoy the ability to sit here on this podcast and talk all afternoon. But then when you see the alternative, it makes you appreciate what he did. I 100% agree there. When you see people burning all these buildings down, rolling back to what TJ said, if they were doing precincts and cop-only base type locations, like if they were burning down that guy's house after this happened, that would make more sense than the people who went and ransacked the Target. I understand they're trying to get a huge point across, which has been a massive issue in this country for a long time now. We fought a civil war over this issue that some of these issues never got resolved over. Think of all the men that died during that. All because, and it has happened for hundreds of years. This has been going on and on and on. I feel like this is finally going to be the point. We have got the world's attention. We have every single person in the United States knows what's going on with this right now, because we are all stuck at home. We are all in this state of mind where we're scared and we're wondering what's next. And when we see the what next is this, it makes sense. It's like, all right, we need to fix this issue. Hopefully, fixing this issue will lead on to better things. I understand certain things can't change overnight, but I would like to see everybody doing everything a little bit greener, myself personally, because we all have children that are going to have to enjoy this earth later on. If my wife was African American, I would want my children to be able to enjoy better rights than what they're currently being treated with now. And with that, I think that's about all I have to say on that subject. Like that's it's hard.
With Dave and Ty, were you guys around? How old are you guys?
I'm gonna be 27 in the fall.
So do you guys remember the LA riots?
Oh, jeez.
No, I don't.
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of.
But that's the thing is, looking back at all that, that was very specific.
Yeah,
that wasn't every single fucking little big city across the whole country. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a little bit
of
stuff.
Then people were working. There wasn't social media.
So much is different.
Yeah, the perfect storm, like you said.
Different.
Yes.
But that's the first thing that came to mind was, what if this was like this during the LA riots? Like that would have. I remember going around going, what is everybody doing? Like, why are they destroying their city? You know what I mean?
Their own city, their own.
My question is that, well, that was the thing, is they weren't destroying their neighborhoods. These people that were out destroying places weren't destroying their own apartments. They weren't destroying their neighborhoods. Their neighborhoods were safe. You could tell where everybody came from because they weren't burning down their own homes. They were burning down everything that wasn't theirs. That's the important key. If you're really upset about this and you want everything to burn, why are you not burning down your own house? But you're burning down everybody else's livelihood. Seems a little,
Well, as being part of the newer generation, David, what have you? I know that I personally have never really seen anything this close to our home because you and I are roughly in the same area. This is a first for me, and I'm quite a few years older than you. But for you have, you're a young, halfway decent looking guy, no children.
That was Jamie flirting.
Yes. Oh, I'll give you my number sometime. You can get it on the bathroom wall for a good time. But with this rioting and things, how is it going to impact you directly?
I think with them ruining all these businesses, those businesses are going to be hurting. They're just going to keep on. Like if they were trying to struggle through the COVID, and if they're just making by, and then you get someone like ruining your business, that's you just get hit from both ends. It's sad to think about, but I think with everybody's way of reacting to stuff like this, I think it's just terrible. I feel like with the Black Lives Matter on the internet, I think that's the way to go about it. It's just to get in people's head that you shouldn't riot against your own businesses. You should riot on the internet. Just get your voice heard on that. Get heard in the city streets. Not ruining these businesses that are barely making by with this whole pandemic.
Right.
I just think it's ridiculous.
I agree with you. The fact that we are balls deep in a fucking pandemic is what makes this whole thing even more stupid and crazy to me. I feel right now, I explained to somebody earlier that one of my friends, he had messaged me and he's just like, do you see this? I said, right now, I think that these peaceful protests are as stupid as playing fucking Russian roulette with a bunch of condoms, and you're just going to go and poke a hole in one of them, shuffle them up and hand them out and see who gets fucked, because it's not, there's nothing that's good that are coming out of these protests right now. Nothing. Because every single one of them that you see on TV, that again, all right, here we go. That they're showing on TV is showing mostly the bad stuff, but they are showing some good stuff too. I will give them a lot of credit. I told my wife earlier, I said, something that really drives me nuts is you see all these people, CNN, you're the problem. Erie News Now, you're the problem. Blah, blah, you're the problem. You know what? Maybe a week ago, I'd agreed with you. Maybe they were the problem. However, you know what they are showing people right now? It doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter religion. It doesn't matter any of that bullshit. The only thing that they're showing you right now is real shit in front of your face. What's happening somewhere in the world right now. It doesn't matter all what they're saying. You physically can take a look and see exactly what's going on. And right now, it is so disheartening. I'm scared for my daughter. Thank God these kids don't have to fucking go to school this week coming up in all these places and have to go through these towns over all this rubble and ash, because how embarrassing is that for us to show these young impressionable minds that this is the life that we're living? Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry. You know what? Anybody have anything else they want to bring to light about this? Or is
Yeah.
Please.
Two things that I'm worried about. Bringing up the Rodney King thing. Rodney King wasn't killed.
No.
He wasn't killed, and look at the response.
Yep.
So what happens if this cop gets off on this?
Well, that's what I mean. It's already escalated to this.
I shudder to think. And to Jamie's point, I don't see any social distancing going on when it comes to these protests.
I'm glad you said it, because I was going to say something, but
right there with you, man. 100%.
Yeah, it's like just throw everything that we've done, just throw it out the window right now.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, pressure the entire U.S. to open as quickly as possible. I just see. I don't know, man. I'm worried. I'm really scared.
I'm afraid that this is just the beginning.
Yeah. That's the sad thing. You see, a lot of these southern states that opened early, their numbers are rising. Their cases are going up, and it's like, dude, like this shit worked, man. New York has been coming down. Like, think about that. Probably the worst place in the entire world.
Well, to be honest, a lot of those people from New York came over to Cape Cod, so our numbers went up, theirs went down.
But like you were saying, the fact that they're coming down and that they're controlling everything, and they're because they got a contract to trace all these people and all that. It is impressive what they are doing there. And they have much better shit to do with our time and resources than to fucking push people and make them stop acting like a bunch of chaotic children. I'm sorry. People, again, I try to not get too involved emotionally, and I try to not let things, but I see people like, well, this person got kicked over by a riot police officer during a riot. Well, this person also threw a beer can at the cops. They spit. The cops kept telling them, move out of the way, go home, get away from here, practice social distancing. They got hit by a tear gas a couple times, and they still would not move. I'm sorry, me personally, because I wasn't up front there in the city. I wasn't a part of it. I'm sorry, then I'm going to see it a little bit differently. But if a riot police officer tells you to get out of the way and go home, and then they actually have to use brute force with people to get them to move, do I feel it's right or wrong? It doesn't truly matter. All I'm saying is, if you see a dumbass walking across the tightrope, and they're taking a knife to it, and they're just taking swipes at it, and then after a while, that thing is gonna cut, and you're gonna fucking get hurt. I'm sorry. You knew what you were getting yourself involved in. They're like, oh, these children. There's children out in these riots. Well, where the fuck are these children? Why they should be at home with their parents, not out in the middle of the streets with their parents. So shame on their parents for having them there. I'm not going to feel sympathy for them getting hit by tear gas. Would I want that to happen to my child? Fuck no. But that's why my daughter's going to fucking be home with me when all this shit's going on, because I'm going to be a parent,
Jamie.
a responsible fucking parent, and I'm going to take care of my child.
They've got a bridge blocked off in Fairhaven, not too far from here, about 45-minute drive. They're literally people sitting on the bridge. The only bridge, well, I mean, you can go all the way around, but it's a main bridge that connects from New Bedford to Fairhaven, and it's one of those rotating ones that spins this way to let the ships go through, because it's at a shipping fish processing docks. So they're sitting on the bridge, crossed all the way across it, and granted, they're not hurting anyone, which is so I I say that's a
They're not
peaceful.
burning anything.
They're not
Yeah,
burning
they're
anything.
not.
Nothing's
What
on
was
fire.
it? Colorado, they were all laying down. They were,
You know,
yeah.
that's a peaceful protest. That's
Yes.
a protest I can get behind.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a message.
That's that's using your rights and doing it correctly. It sucks for everybody who lives in that area because it's a pain in the ass to get around that area as it is, but it's a proper way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're creating a minor inconvenience, not
Yeah.
destroying somebody's livelihood.
Yeah, you're not destroying somebody's private company, private business that they had to lay off all their employees 2 months ago, and they're still waiting for money to come through from the government stimulus thing that they probably aren't going to get to try and ride through, the virus and maybe keep a couple employees on, and now their business is on fire and destroyed, and now they have no way of taking care of their family, their grandparents, their parents that are living with them or whatever, or their kids, disability. Them kids might be, you know what I mean? You don't know those people's situations.
If you look at other news sources out in the world right now, they're all looking at us and they're like, y'all are fucking dumb, man. Come on, seriously? Like, y'all are dumb. Like,
it's just feeding into the narrative. That's all it's really doing. Like Jerry said, it's taking away from your point. It's making your argument almost invalid because you're not doing anything constructive about it. Like I said, It's not constructive, it's destructive.
They interviewed the guy, George Floyd's wife. She said he would never approve of these protests.
No, nobody would. Nobody that these people would.
Yeah,
it's definitely disappointing. But I'm going to go ahead and change gears. David, did you have anything you wanted to add on there, or?
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. Also, what everything's going on,
Other than these last, few days here on the news, obviously, it's been going on now for a little while. Here, it was last night. Other than that, it's been a pretty awesome week for me, guys. Got the studio a lot more involved. Got a bunch of things cleaned out. We had a social distance band practice yesterday, so that was really awesome. Got to see the guys for the first time in quite a long time. In case anybody is concerned, just so you guys know, yes, most of the guys, we live in Erie County, but I live in Crawford County, and since there's that magical line, we are a green county, so it was okay for us to have practice here. 10 minutes up the road, though, where it's, Erie County, and they're still yellow. Oh, and by the way, now they're going to be yellow for a little while longer, I'm sure. But yeah, we had practice. There's some restaurants that are opening up around. There's just sign of hope in life, and you know what? I've gotten it off my chest about the other stuff that I can't control. And I'm looking at the beautiful future here, and it really does look bright. It's nice to see some hope around here. Went to Meadville. I had to have been yesterday morning. My wife and we had to go to the Home Depot because we had to get mulch for the yard and stuff. And it was nice, man, driving around town, like the city, and seeing people getting in our fucking way. It was nice to have red lights take too damn long. It was kind of nice to stand there and have to wait for all these people to make it through the door first. But there wasn't a whole lot of craziness and emptiness. So yeah, seeing signs of hope yesterday was really nice. Are you guys a green county or a yellow county where you're at, Ty?
See, like up here in Harrison County, we are doing really well.
Yeah, because again, there's like not many people or whatever.
There's not a whole lot of people, so a lot of everything has stayed normal throughout this whole pandemic. It's really weird. We're a small county, but everything has stayed for the most part normal. There's hand sanitizer stations and cart sanitizing stations and all the places that we used to go to that you never had that type of ability.
We should have been doing the whole time.
I think that's something that's going to carry over.
Exactly.
I honestly think that's going to carry over.
Oh, that's what
because if we had an average of 46,000 people a year or whatever, I shouldn't quote that number, but that is rough estimate of how many people we had die a year from the flu. If we had 100 to 200,000 die a year from COVID-19. That's a problem. Hopefully, as soon as this vaccine comes out, when it comes out finally, that we will have those numbers drop down a little bit. Maybe it will become something that is as average as the common flu, and we won't even really think about. And life will go back to normal, just like everything. But I'm thinking certain things will definitely stay in place, like what you guys are saying. There will be way more sanitation processes on all of these different, public transportation, the stores, convenience stores. They're going to want people to at least try to maintain some sort of social distancing to, get rid of all sorts of different problems. I think it does help with a lot of different problems other than just sickness.
It's really going to benefit the strip club service. I'm just saying. They're going to be wiping poles. Not. Oh, sorry.
There goes my lap dances.
If it's through the glass, how are you supposed to fully?
Well, technically,
yeah.
technically, she doesn't have to be within 6 feet in order to touch it. But
it's like prison. Got to hold a phone and be like, "Yeah, you like that?"
Hey, I had to bring some laughter to it. Come on.
Oh,
ride
man.
a bike.
Oh, man. So I got to tell you.
Not with my dick.
So I got to tell you guys this funny story. So as you guys know, I've been posting videos and pictures and stuff that are really dumb and funny because it's time it's time I do that in my life. I make it fun. So I post this video on my Instagram and Facebook. I went into the bathroom. I took care of business. I washed my hands. I get done. I'm like, what'd be funny? I was like, if I was sitting here like all nonchalant, and I'm just singing one of my own songs, and while I'm washing my hands, So I'm sitting there and I get the soap on my hand. I go to put my hand under the sink, and the automatic sink doesn't turn on. I'm like, son of a bitch. So now I got a handful of soap, and I got to go walk to the other bathroom, which is around the corner. So I get like literally right on the other side of the room. So I go into the bathroom, and I go to stick my hand under there. I look down, and I'm like, son of a bitch. I got to turn the knob on. So I turn the knob on. So I put my phone down. I hit the button. I start singing, doing my thing, and I messed up, so I stopped it. I started again, because that's what you do like 3 or 4 times. So the last time I get the video right, I'm sitting there, I get it done, I do my thing, I'm singing my song, I get done, and I get out of there, I post the video, but right when I get done, I get a text message on my phone, and it says, "I hear you," from David, who was in the other bathroom. So I'm laughing because my video is uploaded, and he says, I hear you. So I sit down at the lunchroom, and David comes back, and he's like, I'm telling the guys about it because I thought it was hilarious. And I was like, yeah, well, joke's on you, David, because I know that sink didn't turn on. He's like, well, I didn't have any problems. I was like, well, if I didn't have these little girl hands, I had those big DBs, which refers to dick beaters. If I had some big DBs, then I too would be able to get the sensor every time, So that's where the story is going in my head. It's funny, all day long, because I don't check my Facebook very often anymore during the day. I get home, I have got 3 people to tell me, ha ha ha, they've reacted it, they love it, they see it's funny. And then I have this one person try to explain to me how to properly wash my hands. Because at the end of my, 7th or 8th rotation, I turned the knob off with my hand, before I hit stop. And I was like, all right, I get it. I get it. And I was like, all right. When I leave here, you wash your hands, you're going into a lunchroom. So what do you do as soon as you walk into a lunchroom? Just like any other fucking place. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. First thing you do is you sanitize your hands, So I'm like...
After washing your hands.
After washing your hands, yes. So I'm like, you know what? This is the problem right here. People are entitled to say whatever they want. And then I'm like, you know what? They're right. I was clearly wrong. I got fucking nothing. That joke clearly wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be because it was funny the first 4 fucking times I recorded it. And then by the time I actually got the fucking skit joke correct, I did it incorrectly. So I just want to clear the air. I fucked up, y'all. Thanks for pointing it out. I appreciate it. So then I took the video down of me singing one of my favorite songs to sing for people just to make them laugh. But because I forgot to go from there and, do my thing rather than turn the knob off for a split second, walking. So my apologies. You guys are right. You got me with my pants around my ankles. I was wrong.
Laughing in the other bathroom, no?
But the best part of the whole thing was David, though. I hear you. I'm like, that's fucking great, dude. That is
I hear
great.
you.
I was like, that's fucking great, So my video after that, I did not post, but I did end up posting actually, no, I did. I posted the video yesterday of me singing a song to try and redemption round myself. I was surprised nobody bitched about me not wearing a mask or not my legs not social distancing enough from each other, or whatever the case may be. So that little red tractor that I posted that picture of, I paid several $100s for that lawnmower because that's what they cost. My yard is not optimal to even have it or use it, but I'm still trying to get my money out of the deal.
He took 3 passes with it, and his lawn's done.
Yeah, if it would actually like go anywhere or like up a little hill, it'd be great, but it don't. But yeah, so that shit was totally funny though. I was like, I got nothing right now. I really have nothing. Thank you guys for reminding me that I made a mistake, but thank you for also reminding me why I don't post it on Facebook. That actually had a funny thing, but it was a Jamie joke, and it was not funny. My bad. My bad.
You're excused. We'll give you a pass.
I will try harder next time.
Just this once.
So, anything you guys been doing this week that's been pretty awesome, pretty different? I know it's been beautiful outside. I bought an air conditioner for the studio, and it was so hot that it could not keep up at all. It was 81 degrees outside, so it was 99.3 degrees in the studio.
Oh, geez.
Only makes sense,
I was like,
Newton's laws of gravity on heat.
oh
You'll
shit
just gonna
balls.
force it in there.
Again, I made another mistake. I plugged it into a fucking extension cord to try. Now it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. Before you finish your with a complete understanding of judgment, because I would feel the same way. So I got this extension cord attached to my portable air conditioner. Last podcast we recorded, Stern Sessions. I came up here. I smelled something that smelled like it was wired that was really hot. Whatever. It was starting to get warm. I didn't pay it no attention. I go downstairs after we got done with the podcast, and I smell something burning. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm doing the process of elimination. Obviously, I was thinking, so I smelled something burning. I was like, it's probably to deal with my air conditioner. Because that's the only thing that was actually running rather than the dehumidifier. So I follow the cord, and I get to the extension cord. And I'm sorry, Russ Moran, if you listen to this. He's a firefighter. I am sorry, I'm a dumbass. But I look at this extension cord, and it's smoking on a spool. So I take said spool out of the studio or out of my garage, and I'm like, oh shit. So then I learned something new. I learned you can't use a 16 gauge extension cord on that type of appliance. You would much
small.
rather use a 12 or a 10. Again,
Preferably, yeah.
again.
Not enough amperage, man.
Again.
The voltage drop and everything else. You got a lot of issues.
Again, that's not the end of the story. So I get this bright idea that I'm going to go to, that's right, the Walmart, and I'm going to go get a new extension cord. So I go to the Walmart and I spend 10 minutes in the aisle looking at all the cords. They're all properly color coded and shit. So I have two choices: either a 3-foot extension cord that goes on a 10 gauge that is a single on one end and then it becomes 3 on the other end, or that was $5, or for $30 I could buy a 25-foot long 10 gauge extension cord. Now again, I got to remind you, the extension cord that I had in the garage was a 50-foot longer extension cord on the spool. That's where it got worse. Yep, I said it. A 50-foot long 16 gauge extension cord on a portable air conditioner that's rated 12,000 BTUs high. Your 9 amps, whatever. So I get home, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Fuck it. Here we go. I'm going to put this extension cord on it. Then I realize that I really only had to go from one outlet to another because I had two outlets side by side. One has the grounded, the one beside it was non-grounded. A 2 compared to a 3. So that is why I put the extension cord on that day, because I was trying to do it and I couldn't turn the cord to get it right, whatever. So I'm like, well, dumbass, I have a 3 down to 2 adapter that I could put on it for temporary use. And I just shake my head because I put a $30 investment on something that was just because I was just in a hurry to get something done. And at the end of the day, it makes no fucking difference. I'm telling everybody I know about it. I'm doing all this research. My buddy, he's got at his house. He says to me, he says, well, Jamie, no matter how much you try, it's not going to fucking happen because you don't have enough amperage. You don't have enough juice in your garage. You're going to need, for you to do it properly, you would need to run another line from your big box in the house out to the garage directly for that. And because he had the same problem, he tried to put a 5,000 in his attic above his house, and 1 was not enough. 2 might do the job, but his house and everything was not equipped for that much amperage. But now that it's not crazy hot, it's been pretty peaceful up here. Right now we're looking at 64 degrees. Not too bad.
Oh, man.
But this bitch, when I looked and it was 98 degrees, I was like, fuck that. I was like, well, guys, let's do this. TJ and Jerry were like, no, we'll do the podcast another night.
Another day, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to put you through that.
I told you don't sweat it.
Yeah. I told him I didn't want my friend to die of heat exhaustion for a fucking podcast.
So again, I'm just clearing the air. Sometimes I'm a dumbass. I'm also, wanted to wear my cool shirt that my daughter loves every time. It says best dad ever. The way I had it looked like bust dad ever. But the kid, she's like, hey dad, you want to go ride for a bike ride? I'm like, thinking in my head, I got a million things I got to figure out. I'm like, well, yeah, sure do. So I shut her all down, and today the kid and I went for a bike ride. It's been a good week. It's been comical for me seeing all these things. I'm trying to put my real self out there, be just the dork that I truly am. And I'm reminded that not everything I say or do is funny, and not anything I do really is all that smart. But at least I'm semi-decent looking, way above average, way above average. And I can prove it if you want to see this Twitch stream, or in the next podcast or two. I think next one is number 12, so it's going to be 13, or actually no, it might be 12 that we go onto YouTube. I'm really excited about that transition, you guys.
Me as well.
Me too.
I do thank you guys for always taking time out of your busy weeks and in your busy days to come and share these conversations with me, because I go on a tangent and I don't stop, and that's why I enjoy having you guys here, because you guys redirect me like a river, and we all work together. I just wish that society would work together like that. Fuck
Just
being
gets
the same.
undefined.
Fuck being the same. That's right. Fuck being the same. Diversity and everybody being different is what makes it great. Uh, Everybody wants everybody to be on the same page with feeling this equality and stuff. But dude, everybody has to see things differently. We just all got to handle it much more like adults. Uh, but we're also this crazy ass pandemic. Uh, I know I want to see more normalcy for the next 3-4 months. We should be back to living a much more normal life. But what is the new normal? Uh, I really don't know. But I can tell you that we bought pizza yesterday from the Eagle's Nest, which was a building that have amazing pizza. But they had they had burned down months and months and months ago. And they have now come back somehow magically, even through this pandemic. They opened back up with a new business, a new name. I'm going to talk to them, and I don't want to say what their new name is because now with licensing and everything, I want to make sure that I ask for permission to use their name. But their pizzas are awesome. The things that they have are very creative. They have a calzone that is made with pierogies and all kinds of stuff in it.
Oh,
That sounds delicious.
oh man.
The way
Dream.
their menu is so impressive. But the reason why I wanted to go down this rabbit hole is I think of Chicago and surrounding areas, and I think of the time that I was downtown and we went to this pizza joint and we got a tater tot pizza. Have you guys ever seen a tater tot pizza?
Never.
So
I'm from
Chicago,
Illinois.
I've never heard of it.
it is downtown Chicago. It was at a bar we were at drinking stout beers. I bought a pack of Newports. And they were like $9-10 then. It was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. The price of these are crazy high. Well, now it's like that everywhere. Now it's just higher there and everywhere else. Now that everyone else is caught up. But the tater tot pizza, it had like green onion on it. It had like barbecue sauce on it. It had tater tots, all this great stuff. That's what I would love to see coming back to life nowadays is more great food like that. This summer's a wash, man. They've canceled everything. Everything that's fun.
Well, that's something positive. We were looking for positive stuff this last week. That's something I've seen. So Friday they lifted we moved to phase 3, which allows for outdoor dining, and a lot of cities and a lot of towns are allowing streets that have a lot of restaurants on them. They're closing the street so that way they can have seating out on the street. I saw pictures of it the last couple days, and yeah, it just looked awesome, man. You know, we're not going to go back to normal anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that we're stuck. You know, we just have to get creative with how we, how we handle the new normal, how we navigate it. It's, I don't know. I enjoyed seeing it, man. I
think that's really cool.
Man.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
curious
think
around
that's-
here.
I think with that being said, like that's a really cool alternative to a lot of restaurants that don't have a lot of space, that are small businesses that need to try to keep their business going. They can work with the town. Like we have a lot of small towns around here that there's a lot of small restaurants like that have been opening and closing, and a lot of people have had issues. Well, with this whole COVID-19 thing, there's a lot more people that are ready to get back into restaurants. There's a lot more people that want to have that social experience.
Innovation
Of sitting down
is going way more
going
in
through
gear.
the roof. Perfect words, Jamie. Innovation has increased so much. Take it away.
Yeah, I like another cool story. A couple of my buddies, a couple of my really close friends from high school, from growing up, they opened their own business about 2 years ago. It's a craft brew, a bottle shop. You know, they got a couple taps in there, but it's not like a bar where you go there and get drunk. It's more, they made it more of a community thing. You know, it's all local brews, and you go in there and you talk about beer. You know, they've obviously had to close with the pandemic, but what they've been doing they've combined with a couple other local businesses, a couple of the breweries. They've been doing raffles to be able to pay for their employees while they're not working. And I was just like, wow, how cool is that, man?
That's awesome.
They're going out of their way. They're creating stuff. They're using the assets that they have available to them, which is they've built this community. Hey, let's reach into the community. Let's create something that can help. Those are the things that I want. That to me, that's how we get through all this, man. Is we got to get creative. We can't get stuck in this mindset of, well, things have to go back to the way they used to be. No, it's fucking stupid. When things used to be the way that things used to be, we didn't have to worry about whether or not we can die from talking to somebody, or our family member, dying from talking to somebody. So the when people are stuck in this mindset of like things need to go back to the way they used to be, like, hey, help it, man. Like, figure out what the fuck you can do now, man. You can sit there and bitch and moan all you want about how, it was great back then. It's like, well, figure it out now, man. Like, there's nothing that we can do to go back and live that way anymore. It's over, done with. Like, trust me, I want to go back to the 90s. I want to watch the Bulls, It's like, dude, I lived that shit, man. Like, I would give anything to go back and experience that again, and to be going on America Online for the first time, experiencing the internet, all those things. But it's in the past, man. Like, you can't go back and live that again. And I feel like so many people are holding on to that, and they're not realizing, like, hey, things have to change, and that's life, man. Like, the world is always changing. If we're stuck in the mindset of, Jamie, you were hitting on it before. It's like it has to be a certain way. That mindset, it's not getting us anywhere. And the mindset of if you have a belief that's different than mine, then you're an idiot, or I'm never gonna show empathy towards you. I'm never gonna try to understand the message. I think like that shit don't work, man. I keep going back to it, but the Colin Kaepernick thing, like, that was my biggest frustration with it. Was like, have you guys even considered what he's trying to stand up for? Or are we just so focused on the fact that, here's this other thing that, oh, well, it's atrocity. It's like, it's probably doing it for a reason, like, why don't we focus on that? So it's, to me, the positives that I see are the people that are understanding that concept of, hey, we need to do something with what we got right now. We can't get in the mindset of, well, that, it used to be like this, because
exactly.
Absolutely,
the case, man. That's the case. Shit, the Bulls would still be great. They haven't done shit since Jordan's been gone, man. I still watch that team.
People forget there is problems everywhere, but solutions. That's just it. And the thing that I always try to tell people back. When I was in a role, in a position that I had to give more guidance, something that meant a lot to me was no mountain will ever move by just complaining and bitching to it. You have to figure out how to get over that mountain. You have to, if you can't, then go through it. But do something. Just bitching at it ain't going to make no type of motion. The way that people are bringing businesses back is so creative and so innovative. And I'm a very innovative, driven person. And I look back and I think of how interesting it is to see, again, like you said, how they're doing raffles to make money. We're heading towards a more virtual world. I've told the guys in our band, I'm like, a big thing right now with a lot of bands is going, a lot of people are going live, Facebook Live as individuals. That's great. Some people are going with a regular mixing board, and they're playing the sound out of speakers, and they're just picking up the audio of the room. Now, me, I'm more of a nerd than that, so I'm going to be taking all of my digital audio from my 16 channels board here, and I'm going to be putting it in to the computer. But to try and make everything do that, you just have to take one program and another program, and you have to figure out how to make them talk. It's kind of like finding a translator. And I feel that things that people are going crazy and doing right now, they need somebody to be able to give them a voice, but that's not giving them a negative voice or a negative light. so with innovation, we can get over that. We can get through all that. Um, I had a. I was walking through again. I was at the store yesterday in Meadville, in a bus company, like a regular shuttle bus or whatever, was parked in front of the store, and I was walking by the door and I looked in there because all I seen in the front of the bus was the bus driver sitting there without a mask on. I'm like, wow. These people are fucking shameless. They went green for a day, and now it's, hey, masks off. Well, boy, did I feel like a jackass when I was walking by and I looked that bus driver was completely enclosed off from every single person because it was nothing but plexiglass all the way around them. I'm like, damn, they're feeling safe because they can. This is the safest they have ever been in their line of work. And that driver could have been working for that company for 40 fucking years. And this is the cleanest and the most healthy and the most sanitized area he's ever had in that whole 40-year experience. But again, they had to find an innovative way to be able to haul people around in public transit and to keep that guy safe. He was just sitting there, munching on a jerky stick or something. I was just walking by, paying no mind. And then I felt like the jackass because looking through the front window, I was judging that guy. I was judging him. I'm guilty of it because again, that's where we are right now. We're all, people are like, oh well. He ain't got those masks, or they're not social distancing, or are they? Is that 6 feet? Like, dude, are you gonna break out a fucking tape measure and really, really measure? Like, me standing here in passing with somebody having a conversation? Like, right now as a society, that is where we are. That is what we're doing. Is it right? No. Is it wrong? No. That's just where we're at. Open your eyes. It's okay. That's the world we're living in right now. But I just wanted to clear the air. I was judging this guy. And when I walked by, I was like, wow, that guy's probably feeling the best he's ever felt working at that job. That is awesome. But now I want a fucking beef jerky.
Now I want a beef jerky, he says. Exactly. And you're stimulating the economy right there. You're getting the beef jerky market way up there, which being a farmer, we are starting to see certain effects of like these meat processing plants shutting down because of COVID.
Yeah.
And you're hearing about certain meat processing plants that have 150 people that have gotten sick. And, 8 people have died or however many people have died. And they finally addressed the issue. There should be a lot more people that take it seriously when it comes to jobs like that, I feel like. And public transport, that is something that you got people coming in there, scanning their tickets, doing this, that, and the other, and coming within coffin distance as they enter the bus every time. I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. I, support all the people that are in that line of work, just like you guys happen to work in a hospital, and things like that. It makes it way harder. I'm, essentially a souped-up janitor. I work at a college. I'm a utility worker, and we have seen less people this year than we have in the last 50 to 100 years. I mean, there's nothing going on up at our college, which is why there's going to be a lot of budget cuts, which we get to find out between Monday and Wednesday who exactly is getting cut, which is not really fun, but it's one of those things that it's just part of what everything is happening right now. If something happens here, there's a lot more promising, not necessarily promising, but there's secured positions in other places, other businesses that are very busy right now. We have a lot of local people that are still building houses and doing all those things, which is really good. You see everybody still doing all this stuff, keeping everything active around here, which is really nice because we're in a really small community. Not a whole lot has changed due to COVID-19. There's a lot more people wearing masks, but as soon as these bans started lifting, nobody's wearing masks around here anymore, which is kind of concerning to me. There's definitely a lot of people that should be wearing. The last 4 times I've went into the gas station to go grab a couple things, no one in there's wearing a mask. And when you're in one of those gas stations and you see someone cough and they're not wearing a mask, it makes you way more concerned. It makes sense why they do certain things in certain areas where they require masks. You know, the town that's 10 miles to my east requires masks in every store, where the small town that I grew up in, 4 miles to my west, doesn't require anything. You can go in there, everybody's fine. Nothing has happened there just yet. You know, but town that's 10 miles, it's prime for lots of other things. I mean, if something was to come here, if we had COVID-19 hit here, it would be very bad.
That's good to think about, because like if one person has COVID, they're spreading around to every other person that's around them.
It's
Absolutely.
It's scary to think about people aren't wearing masks. You know what I mean?
Our boss just went down to the Lake of the Ozarks. They have
Oh,
a fancy
jeez.
boat. Oh yeah. And
Wow.
they have been doing, since this whole thing started, daily checks on all the workers here, to make sure everybody's actually working. We're not all just standing around talking.
Yeah.
And with this last daily check, our main boss didn't even get out of the car. They showed up, they rolled in, and they honked the horn and waved at us because we were working outside to, show that they've actually been here to check on us today, that they are around, whatever. But they wouldn't get out of the vehicle, which is smart of them, because I didn't want them personally coming around. They were in an area that brought in people from all across, the local area together, and they were all partying all weekend. I know there's a lot of certain areas around here that haven't been affected, like what I've been talking about with my hometown. There's not been a whole lot of like COVID or anything around here, but all it takes is the perfect storm, just like what was happening currently in our country with all these riots and everything. Everybody being stuck at home, and now they're seeing the riots in the street, and everybody it's playing out a lot differently than it ever has in the past. We're seeing things break down that have never been on as grand of a scale as they are now. Rolling back to the whole Lake of the Ozarks thing, I think it's kind of, a little bit unsafe, everybody doing what they're doing and then going back into everything. But at the same time, I really like seeing the economy kind of starting back up again. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
That's like rule number one of pandemics, of disease, is if you're under quarantine, you stay under quarantine. Like, you don't go anywhere and nobody comes in. So yeah, that's, like, to me, it was the dumbest thing you could do. And it just made me think, is our need to party and get fucked up more important than people's lives? Like, is this where we're at in our world right now, where our personal happiness, temporary happiness, as far as I'm concerned, is more important than the safety of those around us? Like, is that beer really more important than the potential life of somebody else? And just from what I've seen, the answer is just unequivocally yes. Everything that I've seen just screams, we don't really care about other people except for us. And the whole not wearing the mask thing, somebody said it best, man. It's like, I forget who it was, but it's like, I don't wear the mask for me. I wear the mask out of respect for you, because I might have it, and I don't want to spread it to you. It's not political. It's nothing. It's me. Like, I like wearing it, and when I go out shopping out, because that's my way of telling people, like, hey, I give a shit about you.
Exactly.
I found myself a lot more understanding and a lot more empathetic with people. Go ahead, TJ.
Sorry, I was trying to get
you're good.
freaking comfortable over here. I hate wearing the mask. I have asthma. I have a hard enough time breathing as it is. As much as as much as I'm largely winded, as Jamie will point out every now and then.
True story. I'm a jerk. Ask anybody, they'll tell you.
That's my boy right there. But it's very hard for me to breathe as it is.
They don't call it poking the dare for nothing.
For me to even go into a grocery store to go shopping and me to put on a mask, it's like I get winded just doing this podcast. Just sitting here and chatting.
That's because I take his breath away. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah, that's it. Now that they're watching on Twitch, if I could wink, can I wink? Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. Now that there's actual video of this. Yeah, no.
I'll show you later.
It's very difficult to breathe in those, and I understand it, but I understand the need for having to do it. And I've had friends that I've known for 20 plus years, that are against it, and I respect their opinion on it. And they're not. I understand that why they might feel that they're being suppressed by wearing it. I don't feel that way. I respect their opinion on it, but it's not. In my opinion, it's more about doing it for everybody rather than just for you. And it's not just the mask. People keep harping on the mask. They're like, well, they're suppressing my rights. The mask isn't the cure-all, but that's what everybody points to. Well, they've said that it's not effective in stopping it. No, it's not. It's not 100%. No, we're not saying it is. What we're saying is that with proper social distancing, with the mask, with sanitizing and washing your hands and practicing good hygiene, we can slow it down. We're not going to stop it, but we can slow down the spread. That's the goal.
They call it flatten the
goal isn't to wipe it out
Absolutely.
by wearing a homemade mask. It's not going to work. And no official has ever said that. None of them have said that. And it's always that argument. You're taking away my rights, and they're doing something. It's like wearing a condom after you're pregnant. No, it's like wearing a condom after you have STDs. Okay? You still need to wear it, but again,
Yes.
It's not the cure-all. It's not going to stop everything. You do need to do other things, like not have sex. But it's just frustrating, and like I live in an area that is going to, in the next month, is going to explode with people. They're going to come down. They're not going to self-quarantine for 2 weeks because, well, you know what? They're on vacation and they're only here for a couple of weeks. So they're not going to come here and stay in their rental for 2 weeks. It's just a fact of life. Now, granted, I went down to the beach the other day, a pretty popular beach over in Nauset, and people were social distancing. They were wearing masks, which I understand if you're going to be walking around people, you should be wearing a mask, but wearing a mask to a beach is kind of silly. You keep your distance, maybe if you're walking back to and from your car, okay.
Isn't there like oceans in between people? There's plenty of room.
It wasn't crowded by any means, but I do see an issue when we start getting all those tourists coming in, and it's going to happen. My bosses at work are saying, oh, it's not going to be a busy year. So it's going to be a busy year. People are not going to stop and not come here and not want to get out of the house.
To get out.
They're
Yeah,
not
the ozarks.
They're ready to go.
They're getting paid.
Look,
They're getting
exactly.
essentially a bonus with the stimulus check. They got a bonus.
They will start a
come here
fucking
every year.
Riot
There's
because they
gonna
want
be
to get
people
out
here.
and be fucking people.
And there's no authority stopping them. They proved that on Memorial Day weekend when they opened up all the beaches for Memorial Day weekend. So I think it's definitely slower this year, but I'm definitely seeing, like, when I go out for my daily drive and go down to the boardwalk, there's definitely still a good amount of cars are coming in. I'm seeing a lot more cars, a lot more people on the weekends. Because again, 80% of people are still working. You know what I mean? Like 75 to 80% of people are still working. They're still going to go on their vacations that they've scheduled, to begin the end of last year for this year. Whether stuff's closed or not, if they're in my area in New England, Cape Cod's a destination place in New England. It's just the way it is. It sucks because, I mean, we're gonna have another.
Oh yeah,
case.
it's gonna
No doubt.
it's gonna spike another two or three big waves, man.
Yeah, I mean we have our what we call gray hairs that come back from Florida every year. You know what I mean? They go to Florida for the winter and then they come back during the summer. They have the flock of the gray hairs, and they all are going to come back, and they're already on their way, and they've already started. And they're going to bring everything with them that they had in Florida, not just New York.
People forget that the COVID-19 the actual virus itself does not know county lines.
No.
Right.
No. But that's the whole thing. It's like they're like, oh, well, I need to get out of here. Well, okay, you might be a carrier. and you might not even know
Exactly.
it. People don't
Yeah.
understand the asymptomatic portion of it. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Jerry said, with wearing the mask,
Yeah.
it shows you are out there for the better of the people. Doesn't matter if you yourself is sick, you are trying to show everyone that you want to try and protect all of
Yeah.
their health. You're not just in it for yourself. You're not just walking in the store to go and get a couple items and fuck everybody else. It's all about trying to help and be a part of the group rather than just an individual by
A
themselves.
lot of people's mindset is that there's the government's trying to control us, and they're so anti-government that they've got those horse blinders where you can only see one direction. They've got those on where they're so set in, okay, it's the government trying to suppress us, it's the government trying to control us, that they don't see, okay, they're one of the arguments out there, one of the big arguments is they're trying to control us and make us dependent on the government. Newsflash, we already are dependent on the government. Okay. This whole pandemic has shown that you're
Yeah.
dependent on the government for a lot more than people want to admit. And that's okay. Yeah, but the thing is they're dependent on the government without actually being responsible enough to try and implement and make change in the government through the people that they elect for government positions. They don't pay enough attention to it throughout the years. So you've got people that come up for re-election in your office, in your lower law office. And I'm not talking about presidency, because that's a fleeting office. President that is the worst position in the United States, because you're just a puppet on the string. Okay, you've got to fight everybody down below that's trying to get your attention, that's trying to get you to you know what I mean? There's so much stuff. I would never, ever, ever want that position in my life, because you essentially can't affect change. But your local government, watching for your local laws, it's a lot of work. But if you want to affect change, that's what you have to do. And I've been trying to do more of it. I've been trying to watch when new things come up in ballots, when they're trying to, okay, why are they changing this one thing? What else are they putting in this as a provision so that it does get passed? Why is this law that didn't get passed 4 times already, all of a sudden everybody's unanimously going to vote for it? Why? What did the left side submit for demands from the right side? It's stuff like that we don't pay enough attention to realize that there's so much stuff under the radar that's pushed past in laws that we have no idea about. And we have no say in, because we've already voted these people in to be our voice. So a lot of these things we don't even have a chance to vote on. But instead of calling up and bitching to your local person, you're complaining to the guy who voted for Trump, or who voted for the Clintons, or who voted for so-and-so or Obama, rather than going down to where these laws start and where they're coming from, and taking action against those people and putting those people on blast. I don't even know where I was going with that whole rant. I get lost sometimes.
It's
No,
because
but
you
you're
haven't been
valid.
posting, man. You're trying to get it all out now.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
And normally I like to reroute, but you know what? I'm just sitting back and I'm like, dude, it's just nice to hear it. Like, people don't mind. Get it off your chest.
It's just I think we've got to stop looking at the very top. I understand, he's fleeting. It's already 4 years. He's almost out of there. The next douche is going to be in there. Excuse my language. Okay, the next
It's
puppet.
not douche. It's a giant turd.
The next puppet is going to be in there.
Or turd sandwich. Sorry, turd
It's either
sandwich.
going to be Biden, or it's going to be Trump.
Hey,
Personally,
real
I'm
quick.
not voting for either.
What's up, buddy?
Everybody has to see the leg hairs video that Joe Biden put up before they do their full cast. Oh yeah, TJ, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Have you heard of what I'm talking about? There was a video of Joe Biden. It's an interview where he's talking about some little kid swimming underwater and touching his gray leg hairs, and how it was so weird. I don't have the video pulled up right now, but my buddy played it for me on Xbox the other night. And it just absolutely blew my mind. It seems like he's in some sort of dementia state. He's talking about something.
He's a very weird person, and the problem is that it's everybody's very focused on the whole. I don't know. You guys know the whole thing that happened with Kavanaugh, the judge there, with the whole sexual rape and all that stuff that happened way back in 20 years ago. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it was He did it or he didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. But they put a whole hold on him becoming a judge because of these allegations. Now, Biden's coming in, and Biden has one of the same thing. He has an allegation against him recently of a recent charge. And everybody's sweeping it under the rug and saying, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, we believe her, but we don't want Trump in. And that's the mentality of that blindfold thing or that horse blinds that we're seeing on a global scale, or on the at least in the United States, across the United States, from coast to coast. Is everybody so? I hate Trump. I hate. My grandmother does it. She hates Trump so much she's going to vote for Biden. She doesn't care what anybody says bad about Biden, or what news stuff is out there, or factual things are out there.
So who do you guys think Biden's going to have as his number 2? Anybody? Any thoughts yet?
No, I have no idea.
It will. I was going to say it'll probably be, what did he do? Well, he was with Barack Obama. He was the vice president to Barack Obama. He has already vocally said he's trying to go for a woman as his vice president if he was going to be
he needs to
into
now.
office.
He needs to
It's
now.
what he's reaching out to the different groups and trying to see what types of votes he can get from all the different groups. Me personally, I don't really know where else to go as far as the whole political conversation as this goes.
Those are the best 2 choices we as a country can fucking come
that's
up
what I'm
with.
saying, though,
Are
but
you fucking kidding me?
But we're so focused on these 2, rather than that are 4-year people that are going to be in there for 4 years. Okay, instead of taking and focusing on the people that are going to be in there for lifetime. Those people that get reelected every year and are in there just cycling through their career, keeping their power, working their way through, manipulating everything, and passing these ridiculous laws. And that's where we need to affect change. In order to affect change at the top, we need to start at the bottom. We need to work at this lower government. We need to work at our local representatives. We need to work at the state senate. We need to work at all these different levels and start really paying attention to what these people. You're never going to find somebody who's going to vote the same as you on everything.
Right.
And this whole blue and red thing of voting is ridiculous.
But one thing that voting has worked out on is for the NHL. I don't know if you guys have been following. I just want to bring up something, not so different, but to me it's very exciting news. So the Golden Knights, my friends, the Golden Knights win their Pacific Division title for the second time in 3 years. And the reason why it's even more beautiful and more awesome to me is because Jerry Jasper, my friend here, he's the one that got me to watch the Chicago Blackhawks. I didn't think I'd ever watch any of them. And now we have the best goalie that they've had here recently. And now he's a Knight and just got his first division title with the Vegas Golden Knights, and he only played for like 8 minutes or something stupid. Jesus Christ. You know exactly what I'm saying. But they are going to do the 24 team format and to challenge it down to the Stanley Cup, which I think if I'd have to go with 2 teams right now, I think I would say probably Vegas and Boston would be one hell of a good showdown for a Stanley Cup this year. I would like to hear your thoughts on the hockey there, Jerry. Have you followed any at all here?
Oh yeah, you know it. Blackhawks made the playoffs because of all this. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. So I'm happy. No, it goes back to what I said before, man. You got to work with what you got right now.
It's innovation.
Yeah, it's innovation, and I like hearing all the different stuff, man. Whatever gets sports back up and running safely, I'm all in, man. Like we can't just go back and say, well, I liked it better this way. It's like, sorry, it can't be that way right now. The frustration I have is with MLB. I'll always have that frustration. The fighting over money during this time,
it's always money with them.
Both sides just look like idiots, and it's sad, but baseball's always been like that, man. It's crazy.
I followed
But
baseball religiously when I was a youngster as well. I was all about it. I really loved the Florida Marlins because we used to play baseball, softball, or t-ball rather, or whatever every day. Wiffle ball, that's the word. Over at my neighbor's house for years, we would always play baseball. Then when we got a little older, we would go down to the park and we played at the actual park because we were playing real baseball. We had joined the teams and shit. And I remember being that young, and I remember the reason why I stopped watching baseball was because of the strike that they went on at that time frame. Over again, like you said, money. It's just
yeah, it
what
was
they
90,
do.
94 or 92 or 94, something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like '94, if I remember correctly. But it was ridiculous. These people that I idolized at the time, they were more concerned about money for their personal selves when they were already making a lot of it. If they were making a little tiny bit, okay. But they make a substantial amount of money for what they have to do. Like Le'Veon Bell bitching and complaining about his body. My body, my body, my body. Well, they're fucking paying you to do that. That's what they're paying you, to take your body and fucking get it smashed several times by people trying to rip your helmet off your head or whatever. Not to beat you with it because they don't, not everybody fights dirty. But 2 points out of that. One,
Is that a shot at the Bruins?
it is the Bruins shot at that, and two, and it brings you back to what you were saying, Jerry, about all that. About MLB
Yeah,
just taking the money, man.
I'm with you on the strike too. That was my first sour taste with baseball. That taste has never left my mouth, man, and I'm tasting it again right now. For me, '94, that was the year that the White Sox were. They had the team. Anybody will tell you they had a team that could have went to the World Series, that could have won it with their pitching. They were just so much fun to watch, and it was just taken from you. And it's like, as a kid, you're just like, why? What? Like, why? How did this happen? So yeah, I don't know. I'll never.
1994 strike was a traumatic event in baseball history. In 1994, approximately the last 50 games of the regular season and the postseason were canceled due to a player strike called by the MLBPA and their leader Don Fair on August 11th. The World Series was not played for the first time in 90 years. In case anybody was wondering, I did confirm that. And that was off of baseballreference.com.
There you go. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I wanted to share another positive. I thought about another positive, something that happened this last week.
Absolutely.
2 things, actually. First one, and they both deal with your innovation, Jamie, so you'll love them. Graduations. Super sad for these kids, right? I live right behind me is a grade school, kindergarten through 5. They had a graduation the other day, and it was a drive-by, man, and it was so cool because it's kind of like a U road to get up to the school. The school's not actually on the street; it's back away from the street, and there's a U street going in there. And it's basically just like a parade. Every kid that was graduating, their parents drove them through, and all along the side of the quote unquote parade route was the teachers, and they had balloons. They had congratulations. And it took a car probably like 10 minutes to get through the darn thing. And you're hearing honking, and it was such a cool scene, man.
That's awesome.
Things like that. Another thing, we had the birthday parade for my niece. She just turned 14 the other day. And we probably had more than 20 cars go by, and same thing, man. We're going all slow, and the cool thing is, like, people in the neighborhood, like, they're not pissed off that you're slowing traffic down or anything like that. Like, everybody was all for it. So I just love seeing that type of stuff. And then I just want to give a shout out to teachers. I saw somebody had brought it up, what they've had
Absolutely.
to go through, having to transition kids to online learning. Like, are you kidding me? With their attention spans with tablets and stuff like that? It's got to be the hardest thing that they've ever had to do. It's like, first of all, you have to learn new technology, which you've never used before. And now you're putting children in an environment where it's almost damn near impossible for them to pay attention. And the teachers are doing it, man. You know, they're making it happen. They're doing it. They're finding creative ways to get kids' attentions. You know, it's to me, it's just so cool to see. It's so cool to see.
To give a shout out to Barnstable is it's the main county that I live in. They actually did a graduation, or they're doing a graduation where they're doing it on the football field, and at every major yard line, you know, the 10 and the 20, they're putting the two parents with the student, separating everybody so the
Every 10
lanes are 10
yards,
10
yeah.
yards away, and so they're doing it that way, and just the two parents and the kid are there so they can have a graduation. You know what I mean? Like they can social distance, and the parents are all lined up down that yard, 6 feet
Yeah,
apart.
no, that's awesome.
And
That's
and it's just it's such again another innovative way to have a graduation, and now there's more and more that are my oldest niece is graduating this year, and she's her graduation is in July, I think July. So they're going to have that in July at the school. And I think a similar way. I think they're going to do it a similar fashion. And it's very cool. You know, they have that date, and then they have a backup date in case it rains, so that it's, you know what I mean, they have another date to go to if it needs to, and they've already scheduled it out and figured it all the technical stuff out on it, which is just it's good to see that they're like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to give them a graduation and give them at least experience that, because I know for my niece it's been very difficult, where she's a bright kid, she's ahead, she's already done with all her schoolwork, she handed in her last art piece for to graduate and all that stuff. And she's going to a local semi-local college, and yeah, it's nice to see that this is actually sparked some kind of innovation with that to give them that experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded the drive-through graduation shit. My college graduation, like everyone's like, "Oh, didn't you like it?" I'm like, I kind of didn't, because it took like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just sitting there like,
yeah,
come on, man, like let's get this over with. Like,
see, I never
throw this
experienced
hat off my head and have a good time.
I never
Yeah,
experienced
exactly.
either one of
Outta
them,
here.
so
yeah,
Yeah, high school,
Yeah.
not college.
yeah, I never
yeah. I
experienced
mean, high
either
school's
one,
the same
but
thing, man.
Same thing. They're all
Yeah.
all long drawn out
takes
process.
forever. Yeah, I went to my sister's and it
Takes
was
forever.
crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's,
People are finding innovative ways to do things now. David, for your birthday, the reason why I bring it up is because David here turned 21 this year during the pandemic. So him and I have talked. We are going to be going out pretty, as soon as it's okay, we are going to go out. We're going to have a couple drinks. And I am going to set
I
up,
can't wait.
I'm going to set up a Venmo. That's the site I'm going to go with, the Cash App thing. I'm going to set up a Venmo. And, anybody that's going to want to throw down on David's 21st birthday,
Oh yeah.
they'll be
yeah.
able
Oh, yeah.
to do it on Venmo.
Nice.
Oh, David, you better get ready, buddy.
But the point of me going down this direction is so a typical 21st birthday. Midnight rolls around, you walk in the door, you smile, everybody's like, oh, you walk in like a fucking rock star.
Kicking the door.
Or you're in another place where everybody you just walk in casually like you own the joint, and sit down at the bar. I'll have blah blah blah, because you practiced it all day, You get your drinks, you get fucked up with your friends or your family, or whatever. What innovative ways and how did you spend going into your 21st birthday, David? Share it with the guys.
I'm pretty sure my sister still has the poster thing on our basement door. It said like Corona something dash or something. It had like a Corona bottle on it and stuff. It was like it's like a poster, and it said $5 for anybody not the 21st birthday, So
nice.
we had that on the door, and we were playing pool and stuff. My parents went to Ohio, I believe, and got some alcohol. And basically that morning, my brother woke me up. He was like, "Let's go get some beer." So I went out and got some beer with my brother. So it was a great day. Yeah, I spent time with the family. Had fun.
That's
And
awesome.
you would tell me that your biggest fear was to go out and make an ass of yourself and have
Yeah,
to feel bad for making an ass of yourself. Because if anybody knows Dave, Dave is the nicest guy that there is known to man. He really
yeah,
is. And he's like, well, I'm really glad I didn't go out there and make an ass of myself. And I'm like,
yeah,
see, that's
definitely.
where you and I, David, are different. Because even with just my family, you can bet your fucking bought $1 I'm going to make an ass of myself.
Goes out with he goes out with the perfect
I don't
intent of
need
making an
beer to
ass out of
do that. But uh, again,
Yeah,
your normal things is to go out and just get hammered with, like, just to be all that. And the fact that you guys stayed at home, you just made it more of a. I'm not going to say the words intimate, but it made it something more
more
beautiful.
special.
Yeah, more personal, more special. And
I mean, it would have been nice with the going out with you guys later that night, but it was nice with the parents. Got to hang out with them, hang out with my brother and sister.
because
Got to play pool and everything.
you turned 21, that doesn't mean we had your 21 birthday party yet. So
Yeah, yeah, I
it don't
can't
have
wait.
to be on your birthday. So we are gonna have
Get that Venmo set up, buddy,
I'm
because we're
telling
gonna throw
you,
David a hell of
we're
a
gonna
time.
get the
Oh.
Venmo set up, and David, my friend, and you know what's great? Here, Jerry, is his birthday is 4/19, so he we're like
419,
yeah
huh?
4/19. So think of that
Day away.
4/19
boy.
20. Turn 21. What a great way to remember those things. I
Yeah.
pulled up an article on my laptop because I'm trying to touch base with a few things that I've seen this week that struck in my mind and I wanted to bring to light. So, how about Elon Musk overcome with emotion after SpaceX's first astronaut launch?
That is so
Hell yeah.
awesome. I'm so excited to
18
see.
years of hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Pandemic, it don't matter. You're not stopping us, man. We're going to go be great.
Yeah,
Did
the
anybody
guys-
catch a? Go ahead, TJ.
Oh no, go ahead.
Did anybody catch a glimpse at how he set up his bonuses as
No.
far as being the CEO of his company?
No, sir.
So he gets his bonuses, or whenever his company does well, he gets stock shares instead of money. And with the original contract that he signed, it made it to where, at the current price, his stock shares were not worth that much. This is very smart. This is the genius level stuff that people like Elon Musk do. They put their bonuses into the stock of the company rather than wanting money out of the company itself. And therefore, when the company does well, like with this rocket launch, he got a $700 million bonus check
Oh my
because of
gosh.
his stocks. He almost got a $1 billion bonus check because he decided to invest in his own company rather than just take the money up front.
Well,
He had so much confidence in his company that he was ready for that. Go ahead, TJ.
He's trying to get rid of a lot of properties. He's trying to get rid of a lot of that stuff and trying to get rid of stuff that he feels he doesn't need. Like he
It's
has
just 'cause
extra houses and
it's just
things
stuff.
that he's
And
just
he,
collecting.
and he was judged on it or something like that. And
He was thinking of, like he was saying in that podcast, he was very he was trying to make it less about him and more about the progress. More about what they're doing as a company and what their goals are, and trying to take any ammunition pretty much away from everybody. And it's an inspiration to see what he does in a day. What a day of his must be
geez.
like. It's crazy to think of, from the time he wakes up and from the time he goes to bed, the things that he must accomplish. And to see, think of how many different companies he runs and how many things he does and how many organizations he's part of in all of this. And I think about, man, I've a hard time sometimes trying to remember to make time to oh yeah, the podcast is coming up. I gotta Like
Just like today.
sometimes I have a hard enough time putting together agenda for the middle age gaming podcast. Like it's crazy.
Let alone-
It's a lot of inspiration from them.
You got people like Elon, who is launching rockets into the stars, something we haven't done since 2000. Somebody help me, 2011?
Yeah.
I'm not
Last
sure.
2011,
It's been a hot minute.
2011 was the last time astronauts were launched into space from the U.S.
Which is
first
or
time
from
they
U.S.
do it.
soil. U.S. We've had U.S. astronauts in space, just they haven't been launched from here. Usually, we hitch rides on rockets from Russia. So usually,
Yeah.
Russia or another country will send our astronauts to the space station. So we've had plenty of astronauts up there.
Did anybody see the joke? Congratulations to the 2 astronauts that left the Earth.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. I wish I was supposed to 2 astronauts to leave the Earth at a time like this.
Oh, that is awesome.
Well played.
Yeah, you're like,
Too soon?
They're like, deuces, we're out.
that is awesome and genius.
Talk about self-quarantining.
So I did something new today that I think Ty has probably done, but I know he will appreciate this. So again, I was mowing my lawn with my little dinky ass red tractor that barely works. Most of the time it's just my nieces and my daughter and we ride it around this little block here so the girls can all ride around in the trailer. Anyways, so I called TJ by accident. Not usually there's a butt dial. Well, today was a tractor dial because I was on the tractor. So
He tried to play it off like it was an accident. He missed me.
No, that's not even funny because that is not how it went down. So it went down to tractor dial. I laughed when I heard him saying hello or something. I was like, oh, because I had. Dude, he was loud. Oh yeah, I had my in-ear monitor or my in-ear playing, and he's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh shit," because the lawnmower was running. So I was like, "Oh man, I tractor dialed you," and then we talked about it for a minute. Then I didn't even say bye.
No, he just hung up.
I was like, "Yeah,
right.
did you see that picture I posted?" He's like, "No," and I clicked, and then I think he knew I meant, well, go check it out. I'm not going to slow you down from that.
Right away.
And then,
look and react to it.
So then I gave him a minute, and I called him back. And the second time, he did not answer it. And I
didn't even see
so I
that one.
texted him back and said, well, that time was on purpose, douchebag. And then that was all we talked until this time.
Oh, that's what you meant by that. I didn't even know what you meant by that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant the first one was on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even see the second one.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
Whoops.
Yeah,
that was totally by accident.
Totally.
I think a little bit too much sometimes. I'm okay with that. This week coming up, going to be a good week. I got some goals. They're probably very minimal compared to my normal because I wanted to get a bunch of stuff done in the studio. I've achieved that. I wanted to get my garden in. I've achieved that. I wanted to wake up and be awesome, and I've achieved that. I've been working out. I've been eating better. I've been drinking more water. I've been trying to take care of those things. I know you guys all have too.
Oh yeah, look at the guns.
I'm gonna be.
Big flexes.
Hey, I found a 25-pound weight dumbbell in my closet the other day, so I've been using that now.
Well, another week, and
Yeah.
then I say another week, and you might be strong enough to lift it up. Yeah.
I got practice for when I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
I don't get it. Why don't you explain to me what you mean? It makes no sense. But did that mean something? Was there an inside meaning? I told you that married muscle makes me look like fucking Popeye the Sailor Man. Without the toot,
Without the tutu.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be, again, seeing all that things we talk about with Hope. this week I want to dive back into getting, jamming on my bass guitar even more and digging in and getting that groove again. Because I've been kind of a slack ass. I've been practicing, but I haven't been digging in because I've had my mind in a million other places. But I feel like this pandemic was like a good 3 month vacation, for a lot of people that are at their house and are able to take that time to catch up on a bunch of things. I didn't. Not every vacation you go on in your life is going to be great. So if people want to take that out of context, but you know what, you're entitled to have that opinion. Go ahead. I mean nothing negative about it. I just mean it's been 3 months span of time, a vacation, so to speak. But I've achieved a lot, and I know a lot of people have gotten a lot of things done. Some people have restructured their businesses. Some people have restructured their lives. There's hope. All we need to do is just keep doing what we're doing. I'm going to be watching the news this week and see what they talk about because I really can't wait to get that hockey going because it's my favorite sport at this time, and that I enjoy having that I can share with everybody. Even TJ, when I first started listening to it, he had no desire to really care about much of what was going on in the hockey world at the time frame, and I didn't care because that was what I talked about. Um, but I'm really excited about the Stanley Cup, and again, it's just signs of hope. We've been on it for a little while. I know everybody's got to get back to take care of business. I know I got to get to bed because we work early. But thanks for taking time out of your day, guys.
Anytime.
Always.
I'll be keeping you guys in the loop as we always do.
Yeah.
I posted a video this week of me playing a song on the Sessions webpage because I was just trying to make people smile. With that being said, I want to say live calm, live focused, live healthy, and don't be afraid to live your best life. Deuces. All right, well, that's one.
Man.
And then I'm going to stop this live feed here. Everybody that's been hanging out on Twitch, thank you very much.
Thank you all very
I'm
much.
going to end that.
That's